Okay, members of the Otaku, I'm calling this an emergency vlog. It's concerning a message that's going around on the site, and it's soliciting members for their artwork. And I have my laptop here. I'm going to try and pull it up. Okay, so apparently the group is called Quarto? See, I want to call it Quattro, so it kind of makes sense, but apparently it's called like Quarto Publishing. And I'm reading a post, and a summary of the message is, "Dear person on the Otaku, I'm writing to you in regards to a book that I'm currently working on called The Complete Guide to Drawing Manga by Sonia Leong. By way of introduction, my name is Sarah Bell, and I run the picture desk here at Quarto Books. I'm contacting you to see if you would be interested in submitting examples of your work. I just come across your portfolio on Otaku, and I think your work would be perfect for this forthcoming title. We'll be publishing worldwide, and you'll receive full credit and complimentary copy on publication. If this is of interest, please email me straight away at email address for further information. I hope you will accept our invitation. I hope to hear from you soon. With kind regards, Sarah." Okay, so big problem with this is the fact that if you Google this company, they have a website, okay? It's a generic art-looking website, so you might think that they're legitimate. But a further problem that you really need to be aware of is the fact that if any kind of company was to approach you concerning artwork, the biggest thing you should really be aware of is the fact that you would get paid for your work. This isn't free, okay? There's a reason there are professional artists in the world, artists who get paid to make pictures. It is because for some people, it's a livelihood, it's their job. And in a case where your work is going to be featured in a book, you want money for that, right? Just because you're getting a free copy that's maybe worth 20 bucks, that's not valid compensation for your work being used here. The situations where you getting a free copy of a book would be okay is if it's something like your community is, like, okay, for instance, my local library a few years ago had a thing where they were taking photographs of barns, because I live in the countryside, and I submitted a photo because it was for the benefit of the community. It was not a scenario where they were making money off this publication. They were making a showcase of barns, just for some local history, and I received a free copy, blah, blah, blah. But in that case, it was not a thing where the library was trying to reap in the rewards of this photo book of barns. It was because they were probably trying to make a little money, but it was for my freaking library. You understand? Like, this is a group that is, taxpayer funded, or it runs on donations. So in that case, it's almost an act of charity. This is sounding like an act of charity, the way they are approaching artists about this issue. They're not offering you any kind of monetary compensation. They're just offering you a copy of their book. And furthermore, you don't know what they're going to do with that image, because once you hand somebody an image and there's no kind of formal contract involved, they can do whatever the hell they want with that and probably not face any kind of repercussions because you gave them your image. That's it. I mentioned this way back in a SOPA vlog I did concerning photographers and the rise of stock photos, where a lot of photographers got burned about a decade or so ago when stock photo sites are becoming popular, and they submitted their photos, and what ended up happening was they got dirt money in return because no one wants to pay a lot of money for stock photography, especially because some stock sites exist for free. When you're signing over your image rights like this, you're really not sure what the end deal is, unless there is some sort of specifically drawn-up contract concerning things. And anything about the concerns of published work of any kind, you tend to get some sort of commission money, a percentage compensation or such, for every time your image is used. And so in this scenario, you're not getting that. And you really need to be aware of these things. Basically, it seems the big word here that you should keep in mind is money. Money, 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 money. Money is very important, and you need to think of your artwork as something to be offered just like any other job. There are people who can go and be engineers. There are people who can go and teach, and you know what? They get paid for that. Unless it's a charity act. And Again, a charity act with artwork would be if you're doing something for a community project, for a charity organization, for a fundraiser, for a group. You're not doing this. What they're basically trying to offer you here, I think, is they're trying to get you on this exposure thing. And honestly, exposure can be extremely easy to gain, especially in this day and age, just by having a website, just by having a DeviantArt, just by having a way to push your artwork out there. You don't need this. And this sounds extremely fishy. The other thing I want to bring up is the fact that the otaku has a history with these scams. Specifically one in particular that happened years ago. Like, it happened a long time ago. It was on the Gray site, and I really want to say it was like, I was in high school, I think. It was okay. It was around the time the Wii, the PS3, all that stuff was being released, and the otaku, was involved in like there's a charity thing going on. There was a fundraiser, I believe, for breast cancer research, stuff like that, and this company, this group, or maybe just a single person approached, people on the top, approached the site and said, hey, we're doing this thing, we are doing I think there might have been a convention in conjunction with it, it was something like that, where they needed artwork for it, right? And they said the people who get like first, second, third place, we have a Wii. And at this time, the Wii was really hard to get. Like, this is a time when the systems were brand spanking new, and they were impossible to get. And so this is a huge deal on the site. And what ended up happening was, they had the contest, the winners were announced, everyone was like, this is really cool, like, our site is this little rinky-dink little site, and we're getting exposure on these artists, and it's all going to a good cause, right? No. It ended up being a huge scam where, and I think that the biggest slap in the face was really the fact that these guys took all the money they raised and ran. And I think the biggest thing people were the most upset about was, this was for breast cancer research. Like, it was extremely despicable. And it took a while to set things right, but things ended up getting squared off, and I'm pretty sure the people who had won did get their Wii's and PS3s. So, and I think the guy was caught, and I really want to say he was caught like in Mexico, but in the end, justice was served. However, this is kind of, I think, anyone who can remember that every time any sort of scam, a whiff of scam appears on the site, people who remember that incident get on edge, because that was an instance when we were extremely burned, and it wasn't just our site that got burned and people and members, it was outside, it was other people, and you just felt terrible, because these were things that you're just like, this should not happen. And in this case, this is a thing that is being spread around by PM, and I'm trying to make you people aware of it, and to be on your guard, and it's just better to be safe than sorry, especially in artwork when people are already, scammed and have their work stolen and lifted already. You just gotta be on your guard and, watch out for yourself and for your friends. So, I hope this hasn't affected you, and if it has, just please, just ignore the message. I think is the best thing to do, and take care.